Hi, my name is Savannah Witchick, and I'm a student at the College of St. Benedict, and today I want to talk about retirement and the American dream, meeting expectations without diminishing care. These two lovely women are my grandmothers. The one on the left is Judy, and the one on the right is Wilma, and both of them had different needs when it came to their care at the end of their lives. My grandma Judy was diagnosed with dementia, and so she required a facility that would have 24-hour care and knew how to deal with neurodegenerative diseases such as dementia. Well, my grandma Wilma had all of her ducks in a row when it came to her brain, but her body wasn't able to support itself anymore. She experienced a lot of hip fractures, she was having heart problems, and she needed specialized care. My grandma Wilma lived in Elmcrest Manor in New Salem, North Dakota, which is a very rural, middle of nowhere location, located about 40 minutes outside of Bismarck. She lived there for 2 years, and its rural location made it difficult for a family to visit. It also offered a very limited amount of autonomy because she could only leave the building with assistance or permission from the staff, and she could only go to activities with help from the staff. It also overlooks the cemetery, which doesn't really matter, but is kind of a downer. My grandma Judy, on the other hand, lived in Edgewood Village in Bismarck, North Dakota, which is one of the more densely populated cities in North Dakota. This facility offered specialized care for dementia patients. She had 24-hour access to any help that she may needed, and offered her a variety of activities and spaces and care that she wouldn't have had in a more rural location. Looking at both these examples, one of the places that I want to make an impact is by improving well-being in senior care, specifically mental and physical well-being. I don't know a lot about the nursing side of things, but I know a little bit about psychology and know that being stuck in a place and not having the ability to choose what you want to do can be really, really hard on people, especially mentally. Year. There are, in the U.S., 4 million adults aged 65 plus were in senior care facilities at some point over the past year, and 77% of this care was covered by Medicare and Medicaid. In the U.S., there are 4.1 million people turning 65 every year from 2025 to 2027, meaning that we are having more adults than ever going into senior care and expecting a lot from these senior care facilities. In North Dakota, 17.1% of residents are older than 65, with more than 50% requiring long-term care at some point in their lives, whether that's over a number of years, like my grandma Wilma, or for just a few months, like my grandma Judy. The care is becoming more and more important for these adults, especially when they have incidents or accidents that prevent them from living in their family homes. So what does that number look like? These two pictures are from my grandmas and their siblings. On the left now is Grandma Wilma with her 2 siblings, and on the right is Grandma Judy with her 7. When it comes to over 50% of residents receiving care, that means 6 of these 11 individuals will receive care at some point in their lifetime. And this matters because it can get costly. North Dakota, on average, costs less per month for basically anything than in other states, but especially in senior care. The average cost per month in North Dakota is $4,817 about, and this can vary depending on your location. Typically, in more urban locations, such as Fargo, which is the most populated city in North Dakota, it costs about $3,647 per month on average to live in care facilities, while in rural facilities, it can cost about $4,087. Part of this discrepancy has to do with the lack of resources, the lack of money, and the lack of access to facilities that urban care typically does. And most often, rural facilities are covered by Medicare and Medicaid more often than the private funds that are typically found for urban care facilities. One of the big beliefs of the American dream is about the freedom that comes with it. The freedom to choose what you want to do, to be who you want to be, and to have access to all the things that you want. And when it comes to senior care facilities, residents have reported wanting to maintain a higher level of autonomy in there, such as picking the food that they want to eat or the activities that they want to participate in. And this has tons of benefits, psychologically and physiologically, and it provides a boost in social skills and general morale, which can be important in these facilities. So the goal of my program would be to increase access to activities and the variety, especially in rural senior care facilities, without raising the price. With that, there's going to be three main things that make a difference here: exercise, social hours, and outdoor access. It's pretty well known at this point that exercise has tons of benefit for every population, but most importantly for this older adult population. You can decrease disability prevalence, enhance functioning with muscle power, increase cardiovascular functioning, improve sleep, appetite, and overall mental health. However, it's really important to consider individual health factors and to emphasize phases of exercising, like warming up and cooling down. And that can make it really difficult to implement. A lot of the times, residential care facilities will implement social activities before they implement exercise activities, even though exercise is just as, if not more valuable than social activities, because it's just hard to implement when you're trying to account for everyone. However, you can offer a variety of options that will really increase accessibility, such as exercise classes via YouTube follow-alongs, which can include sit and reach, and it can include activities for those who have the ability to get up and down and those who are stuck in a chair. They have lots of chair yoga exercises out there, or even doing more simple yoga such as Tai Chi. You can also offer regular walks when weather's good, and you can even offer low impact sports programs such as swimming or walking football. Typically, if you have the ability to make a one-time investment, it can last for a while and benefit so many people. Social hours are most often included in senior care facilities, and they have tons of benefits, such as combating negative mental health, promoting self-esteem, reducing stress, decreasing loneliness, and overall just buffering the effects of poor health. And there's tons of low-cost social options. Typically, religious services are often provided, though not typically multi-religions. Typically, it tends to be a Christian one, especially in North Dakota. You can also encourage friends or family to call or text more often. And finally, just by opening up and adding more variety of options, such as movie nights, bingo, opportunities to make art, coffee meetups, book club, there's tons of ideas out there. Finally, you'll want to increase access to outdoor spaces. Tons of benefits here too, such as improved mood and quality of life, a decrease in disruptive behavior, and a decline in medication needed to treat changed behavior, which is important for patients who have been diagnosed with neurodegenerative disorders such as dementia, as well as improving mental well-being and reducing cognitive decline. The biggest issue in North Dakota is Midwestern weather patterns. It can be really hard to get outside year-round when it freezes for months at a time. However, you can increase access by simply encouraging residents to bring year-round clothing. Just a simple change can benefit everybody. Outdoor space options include walks outside, access to gardening, and updating green spaces so residents can access them on their own without requiring the help of the staff. Why would this plan work better than others? Because it's got long-term sustainability. The basic gist of this is to create more activities at a low cost or no cost option to the facilities. For exercise, most of it requires repurposing what they already have, such as using big TVs to project videos or movies. Most options for the social hours can already be found in budget. They typically have a budget already. Or you can reach out to public facilities for help, i.e. for book club, you can get books from the public library. Finally, outdoors, probably be the most costly, but a one-time renovation would last a long time, especially if the green space is limited like it would be in North Dakota. Why is it important to me, and should it be important to you? Well, because we're at that point where all of our parents are going to start going through this. Whether they have already began planning for retirement, or whether they're looking at it for the future, they are going to need help and care at some point or another in their life. My parents are getting up there in age, and while my grandparents already went through this experience, I want to make sure that my parents are well cared for at the end stages of their life. And here are my references. We use a lot of them. Thank you for watching.